All right, this is a quick tuning tip on the Green Machine from RCBS, a press that was made in the 1980s. It's a progressive press, but you probably already know that if you have one. So I was talking with a colleague or a friend online on the Reloaders Network Discord server, and we were kind of comparing the actions of the smoothness of the actions of our green machines. And I was commenting that mine felt a little bit rough, and he thought his felt pretty silky smooth. So it led me to kind of investigate what might be causing the roughness in my machine's action. And I discovered something that I wanted to kind of pass along to other green machine owners. When I got this machine about a month ago, it was pretty dirty and had some, caked on oil that had kind of shellacked over time or varnished over time, and I wanted to get that off. So to kind of do a really thorough cleaning, I took the machine pretty far apart, and one of the things I did was I removed this tool head over here, which is what's holding the dies. It's the piece that moves up and down as you pull the lever for the stroke here. And one of the things that I had was these bars in the back that the tool head ride up and down on. Had that oil kind of caked on it. So what I decided to do was to take the whole tool head off to facilitate the cleaning. So the way you do that is there are these two cap screws up at the top over here, and you just get an Allen head driver kind of like this, and loosen these things off. Once you take those cap screws out, you can lift this green piece up here off, and the whole tool head will come off. I take that back. There are actually there are two screws here kind of on the side that also need to be removed, and then the tool head will come off. So what I found was when I disassembled this, or when I reassembled it, is that these two big bars over here, the big posts, they must be canted inwards just a tiny bit. And so when I must have had the tool head in the down position when I put this green piece back on top and torqued the nuts together, and it kind of locked those bars together, and the result was, as I would raise the tool head, there'd be a little bit more friction and rubbing up against those parts. And I guess it could be that those posts were canted outwards as well. They were canted one way or another, and I had kind of locked them in place by torquing them down that way. So the way I solved that was I loosened these cap screws again, and I put the tool head in the up position all the way before I put on these cap screws and tightened them down again. And I tightened them down really slowly just to make sure that I wasn't, moving this piece around any more than I needed to. So I'd kind of lock it in place. And what I found is now it has a really smooth action over here. So just a quick tip for other folks who might take it all the way apart about how to put it together to keep things smooth. A couple other tips. One is when you take these screws out over here, you actually don't need to put them in all the way tight with a wrench. You can just kind of put them in finger tight, and I kind of back them off just maybe 1/8 of a turn, just so that they're holding things in place, but not creating any additional friction there. There are also the 4 lubrication holes that are on the back that obviously need to be lubed. That's covered in the manual. And maybe the last tip is, which is something that came to me from Charlie Brassstuffer, is make sure you use a dry lube when you lubricate the press. And we both use Hornady One Shot, which is a lubricant it's a case lubricant for reloading, but it goes on wet, and it basically it's a dry lube. The solvent will evaporate in it, and then you'll have a nice dry lube. The reason for using the dry lube is that the wet lubes will obviously pick up dirt and grime, and eventually you'll spill powder, and that will kind of get stuck in the track. So dry lube does a better job of letting you blow it out with compressed air and keep things clean. So anyway, that's kind of my tip for you guys. Hope you find that useful if you're a Green Machine owner. If you are a Green Machine owner, I want to encourage you to visit a new website that Charlie Brassstuffer and I have created called greenmachinereloading.com. It's kind of an enthusiast website that we're starting for the Green Machine owners. And if you go over there, there's not too much on there right now, but we've added a bunch of content that we've found including scans of old manuals, that sort of thing. We have an additional manual beyond and some additional documentation beyond what RCBS is publishing on their website right now. So please come on in and join and spread the word to other grain machine owners that you know. Thanks very much.